I love the Super Mario Galaxy games. They are special games that are so astonishingly beautiful and fun. Playing these games makes certain feelings arise within me that are so hard to explain. How is it that a game about an Italian plumber fighting a giant turtle in space can have me smiling at the beauty of it, to having tears well up in my eyes? This is a critique or a review of the Mario Galaxy games. Put simply, this is a love letter to two games that mean a lot to me. I am a man who just wants to talk about these games and gush over them. Or as you youngins say, let me glaze this game, because you can't give praise to anything or anyone nowadays without it becoming glazing. This is why I love Super Mario Galaxy. What becomes immediately apparent upon playing this game is how cinematic it is. And I don't just mean the cutscenes, I mean every shot and every moment feels cinematic. Just look at the opening shot of Mario whimsically running towards the entrance of the Mushroom Kingdom. It's such a colorful shot, the green grass on the sides beautifully flowered with purple, white, and yellow. The starry night sky is beautiful. The stars are like lights on a Christmas tree. The sky is a beautiful progression of shades of blues, purples, and white. And there's the orchestral soundtrack. It's beautiful. And this opening shot, it's exciting, lighthearted, the beginning of an adventure. The cheery toads that populate the path create this very happy feeling that this place is peaceful and safe, and nothing will ever go wrong. And then Bowser shows up and ruins everything. An armada of airships shoot cannon fire onto the unsuspecting crowd. The music goes silent, amplifying the sound of the ensuing chaos, and then the drums start playing, and that iconic airship theme song starts playing. Mario runs among the chaos as the toads around him are helplessly trapped in crystals. Bowser, standing tall above Peach on his airship, is intimidating and opposing in a way that Bowser from Sunshine could never replicate. Peach's castle is removed from the earth and lifted up into space. Mario tries his best to stop them before being blown off into space. A Luma wakes up Mario, and the camera zooms out all the way, revealing the two standing alone on this little planet, isolated from everything and everyone in the vastness of space. What a beautiful shot. The Luma turns into a bunny and begins a game of hide and seek with Mario. Then this absolutely amazing piece of music begins to play. It's beautiful. It's a pensive little piece of music, one that gives the player time and space to breathe and think about what just happened, about where are we? After catching the bunnies, the Lumas say that we might be able to help their mama and reveal her location. As Mario approaches the top of the architecture, a woman can be seen floating above the ground, emitting a bright blue glow around her, denoting that she is a magical being of some kind. Her name is Rosalina, and she watches over and protects the universe. She tells Mario that in order for him to find a special one, he'll need the power to travel through space. Illuma gives Mario the ability to travel through space, and the adventure begins. After Mario finds a Grand Star, he lands on the Comet Observatory, and Rosalina explains that Mario needs to find power stars to power up the Comet Observatory, so that they can travel to the center of the universe and save Princess Peach. After this, Mario goes to the very first level. Good Egg Galaxy is a good opening galaxy. I love how as soon as Mario lands, that triumphant soundtrack starts playing and it makes you think, aw hell yeah. I also really like the third star in the galaxy and the lead up for the King Caliente boss fight. As you get closer to the end of the level, they ramp up the difficulty of throwing coconuts with your spin move. First you throw coconuts that are stationary on the ground, then these enemies spit the coconuts at you, and you have to time your spin correctly to launch the coconuts right back at them. This leads up to the boss fight where you have to avoid the fire coconuts, and then as soon as you see the green coconut, you have to spin it back towards him. As he takes more damage, he starts to slap the coconut back towards you, and it feels like some weird ping pong match except they're both trying to kill each other. The sound effects that play as the coconut goes back and forth is really satisfying as well. Honey Hive Galaxy is a great introduction to the bee suit, which allows you to fly. However, your ability to fly is limited by this stamina bar, and once it runs out, you'll fall back down and regain your stamina once you're back on the ground. This mechanic forces the player to think about where they want to go, and if it's possible to reach certain areas given the limited stamina. Bee Mario can walk on flowers and clouds and climb on certain objects, such as sticky honeycombs and the queen bee who makes some very odd noises. Later on in the third star of the galaxy, there's a boss fight that requires Bee Mario to fly over it and pound him. Pause. In Loop-de-Loop Galaxy, you get to ride this Manta Ray and race him on a water track. And can I say something controversial? I like the motion control levels in this game. I think it's fun controlling the Manta Ray using the Wii remote to steer him left or right. And it's fun trying to control him through the bumpy waves and twists and turns of the track. It's fun when the game does something unique and interesting, something wholly different from the rest of the game. It just makes the game so much more memorable. Speaking of memorable, the first boss fight with Bowser Jr. is one that has stuck with me throughout the years. I grew up with the Wii and owned Mario Galaxy as a kid. However, I never beat the game. If I had to guess, I probably only played 25% of the game, because my dumbass child brain got stuck somewhere and couldn't figure out that I could just do another star. But this robot, it has stuck with me. The concept of it is just so cool. Mario faces off against this unfathomably large robot, climbing up its legs and scaling all the way up to its head, using its own weapons against it to destroy it and grab another Grand Star. It's just so cool. It's like we're directing a scene for an epic movie. I love Space Junk Galaxy. It, combined with the amazing music, gives this galaxy such a distinct vibe and feel to it. Mario navigates through the rubble of space rocks and spaceships long abandoned. This place is broken down, and pull stars are the only means we have to progress through some sections of the level. For the third star, there's this really cool slingshot mechanic where the player has to pull back and aim where they want to land. The boss fight revolves solely around the slingshot mechanic, as we have to pull back and aim for its weak points to take him down. The Sling Pod Galaxy is a level that revolves entirely around this mechanic, as you have to perfectly aim and time the release of Mario to avoid the cannon fire and to land on the next sticky point. Failing to do either of this, and Well, this will happen. Congrats, man. You killed Mario. You sicken me, you twisted man. Another motion control galaxy is the Rolling Green Galaxy, where you control this ball using motion controls. You hold a Wii remote like if you were a joystick at an arcade machine, and tilt it forward, back, left, or right. You can go very fast if you're daring, or if you're a little scaredy cat, you can also take your time and go very slowly, which is the safer option. It's another fun mechanic in a game full of fun mechanics, and I'm glad it exists, because it's fun. Another galaxy with immaculate vibes is Battle Rock Galaxy. Listen to that soundtrack. It's fucking amazing. It makes the level feel epic. Mario travels on a floating plate, running over and under it as he weaves between cannon fire and avoids the deadly lasers. For the second star, you use the pole stars to navigate through a field of spiky rocks before infiltrating Battle Rock and using a cannon to launch yourself towards the star. Ghostly Galaxy is a lovely interpretation of the Haunted Mansion levels commonly seen throughout the Mario series. It introduces the Boo power-up, which lets Boo Mario fly, and shaking the Wii remote makes him invisible, which allows him to go through walls. If a light hits Boo Mario, he'll lose the power-up, so it's important to space yourself accordingly to retain your power-up. Mario saves Luigi, and he promises to help us find the power stars. This introduces a unique mechanic to the game, where Luigi sends Mario a letter, telling him that he's found a star, but he's stuck and needs help. Attached to the letter is a picture of Luigi in the surrounding area. Wait, who took the picture though? The picture is the only clue you get on where to look for him, and it creates an interesting game of hide and seek, where you have to guess which galaxy he's at, and then once we find the correct galaxy, we have to guess his location in that galaxy. The second star in Ghostly Galaxy is a race against Boo, where Mario has to use pole stars to reach the finish line. I think this is the level I got stuck on as a kid, but as an adult, it's not too hard of a challenge, and I think it's safe to say that child me is a giant loser. It's fun to pull yourself towards a pole star and then use that momentum to grab another pole star that, although initially seemed out of reach, is now within reach. For the third star, you face off against Bouldergeist, and the objective is to grab these boos by their tongue and lasso them into the boss to defeat him, which is really fun. I really enjoy Bubble Breeze Galaxy. The controls feel so smooth and perfect. Wherever I blow on the bubble, that's exactly where the bubble will go, and it has just the right amount of speed and precision necessary to make this a fun mechanic. It's fun navigating through fields of spiky objects. You're so vulnerable because one hit is death, but that's also part of the challenge, and it's a good galaxy in my opinion. The bedroom, the Comet Observatory, probably has the best collection of galaxies in the entire game. First up is Gusty Garden Galaxy, which is automatically goated just because of that music. Man, this music combined with Mario holding onto the flower, floating in the wind, it's just magical. The final section of the third star is also really cool because as Mario flips the arrows, it changes the direction of gravity, and he starts flipping all over the place like a fucking burger patty. Sorry, bad analogy. Freeze Flame Galaxy is really awesome because you can skate on the ice, and you also get the Ice Flower, a temporary power-up that allows Mario to walk on water. Mario is Jesus Christ confirmed? And then for the second star, a launch star guides you to a massive lava planetoid, where you have to use the fire flower to light up these torches to unlock gates, and to bring up walls that can be used to wall kick. I love this section for the third star, where you use the ice flower to skate on lava while also trying not to fall off. Cosmic Comet is really fun as you race against Cosmic Mario and speedily make your way through the level. Dusty Doom Galaxy is, again, another great galaxy that introduces tornadoes, which can be used to reach higher elevations. To grab the first star, you have to climb up this absolutely massive tower using wall kicks to climb up. The third star also has Mario outrunning rising sand by climbing up this tower to reach the third star. Honeycomb Galaxy is an expansion of what is possible with B Mario and its mechanics, as you use honeycombs to climb up while using your flight ability to jump between honeycombs and to avoid enemies and other dangerous obstacles. The Bowser level is really great with the shifting gravity sections, as you have to anticipate the change in gravity and jump on the right side of the block to avoid falling off and dying. Toy Time Galaxy is a delightfully wonderful time that takes place in a child's playroom. The walls are painted with green hills in the foreground and a bright blue sky with white clouds making up the background, a scene typically seen throughout the Mario Bros. Series. Mario platforms on toy trains and toy blocks. The first star is this really cool set piece where Mario disassembles a toy robot that looks like Bowser, starting from its legs, taking off its arm, before blowing up the whole thing. This galaxy also introduces Spring Mario, which makes him bouncy, and holding the jump button at the right time causes him to bounce really high. It's implemented in a really fun way, which can be seen in the third star as he bounces between two walls to go all the way up, and has to correctly time his bounce to jump over the revolving walls of chocolate. The third star ends in a boss fight in which Mario needs to use the spring in order to bounce high enough to reach him and ground pound him. Dreadnought Galaxy is another favorite of mine. The section has you weaving between the lasers before launching yourself in the 2D section, where the flipping gravity changes the nature of the challenge. For example, in this section you have to quickly run past these pillars to avoid getting crushed, but when you change the direction of gravity, you have to use them as steps to jump up and get yourself out of there. Once you're out, you have to jump on these guys to float up while being careful that they don't bounce you off to your death. Then you get to this planetoid where you have to flood the planet to get yourself up on these platforms, and then jump on the moving platforms to get closer to the star while avoiding the moving laser beams. The second star is this great section where you're jumping between platforms that have different directions of gravity, while avoiding cannon fire and lasers. And the third star also has a great section where you use pole stars to get yourself to the other side, while simultaneously avoiding cannon fire. Melty Molten Galaxy has another section similar to this one, except you're avoiding these fireballs before quickly racing up this mountain as you try to outrun the rising lava. The second star has this rolling ball section at the end, where you try to avoid the falling meteors and holes in the ground. The final Bowser level is just a culmination of everything you've done up to this point, all mashed into a single level, and it's brilliant. Just look at all the different things you do in this one level. And then this Bowser fight, man, it's great. You're switching between different planets, and each one you take out Bowser through different means. And listen to that music. What? Why is this so dramatic? Why is this so epic? Even the name of this level is The Fate of the Universe. I mean, is this Mario or is this Star Wars? Like fucking hell, it's so dramatic, but it just makes everything so much cooler. It elevates the gravitas of the moment. It makes the stakes feel higher than ever before. I love it. Though I love Super Mario Galaxy's fun and unique level designs, it's often the smaller things that stick with me long after I play it. First off, it's important to mention the role of the Common Observatory in this game. Although there isn't much to explore or find in this hub world compared to the previous games, there is absolutely a wonderful vibe here. The music in the Common Observatory is absolutely iconic, but more than that, it's relaxing. It's peaceful. Every time you come back here and hear that song, it's like coming back home. Like you can take it easy for a minute and just breathe and enjoy it. And it's really interesting how it changes as you collect more grand stars, and that each version is amazing in its own right. In the Comet Observatory, there's a library you can enter where Rosalina reads a chapter from her storybook. As you read the chapters, you're greeted with this lovely lullaby-esque music and this beautiful art style. One day, a Luma crashes down and Rosalina goes up to them and asks if they're lost. The Luma says she's waiting for her mama, that she's been waiting for her day and night. "I'll wait with you," says the little girl. They wait for hours, days, years, and yet there's no sign of the Luma's mother. They fix up the rusted spaceship and travel the starry skies to find her. One night, the girl dreamt about her own mother. "Where are you going?" "I'm not going anywhere. I'm always watching over you, like the sun in the day and the moon in the night." She wakes up with tears in her eyes and says, "I'm crying because I'll never see my mother ever again." The Luma cries with her. The pair traveled and yet found no sign of Luma's mother. The Luma cries. The little girl gives them a gentle squeeze and reassures them, "I'll take care of you." They began to build their home, and it had a library, a bedroom, a kitchen, and a fountain. Though it was large and spacious, it felt empty with just the two of them. One day, an apricot planet appears close to them. Two Lumas pop out and begin to say, "Mama, Mama." Suddenly, many more begin to pop out of the planet. "What am I going to do with all these children?" she laughs. After naming each and every one of them, she begins moving them into her home. One day, she pulls out her telescope and zooms in on her home planet. She finds the green hill where she'd go stargazing. She remembers following her father up the hill to look up at the stars. She remembers sledding down that hill with her brother when it snowed. She remembers having picnics with her mother on that hill. The flood of memories caused her to burst into tears. "I want to go home. I want to see my mother. But I know she's not there. I knew all along she wasn't out there in the sky because she's sleeping under the tree on the hill." One day, the girl was sad again. A Luma comforted her, saying, "Mama, you still have me. And don't be sad about your mama, because she's a part of you. That means she's always close by." Finally, the Luma says they'll turn into a comet that will carry them all on their journey. The Luma is reborn as a comet, and the comet set forth for the girl's home planet. Now with a bustling home, the girl thought to herself, "This is my family now, and I'll stay with them until they're ready to leave the nest. And when they do leave, I'll set them off with a smile, because that's what makes a mother happiest." Rosalina's storybook is such a beautiful little story about loss and finding love and family in unexpected places. The first time I read through it, I thought it was just a nice little thing they added to the game. But that section where the music changes into a more somber tone as the little girl reminisces on her past and amidst herself, she knows she'll never see her mother again because she's sleeping under the tree. Man, what a shock. This is a Mario game. What are concepts like death doing here? And yet, in this small little story, they're willing to go into such a dark and emotional place about loss, homesickness, nostalgia. That line where the Luma's reassuring the girl that her mother is here with her because her mother is a part of her. That's just excellent writing on how the people we love shape our lives even long after they're gone. It's just impossible for me to read through this without tearing up. Even just listening to this music in the background, I can feel the tears welling up in my eyes. It's so beautiful. I love it. And I wish I could explain why this makes me feel as emotional as it does, but I can't. I think it's just something you have to experience for yourself. After Mario defeats Bowser, a massive black hole appears that pulls in everything around it, including Peach and Mario. Then the lullaby music from Rosalina's storybook starts playing, and the Luma that has accompanied us on our adventure waves us goodbye before rushing to the black hole. Hundreds of other Lumas follow, sacrificing themselves to destroy the black hole and save Mario. The explosion creates a bright white light before disappearing, followed by the sounds of newborns crying. Rosalina tells us that these newborns will grow up to become galaxies someday. She says that when stars die, they turn into stardust and scatter across the cosmos. Eventually, the stardust reforms to create a new star, and so the cycle of life continues. But the cycle never repeats itself in quite the same way. This little sequence is so emotional for me. Big part of that's because it ties back with the musical motif of Rosalina's storybook and its themes of life and death. This little sequence further expands on those themes by pointing out that life and death are the natural cycle of the world. Death does not necessarily mean the end, but rather the beginning of something new, which is represented here through the crying newborns. Rosalina says that the cycle never repeats itself in quite the same way, and I interpret that within two different contexts. The first context I interpret this line is through the context of the Super Mario universe. Peach will always be kidnapped, Mario will always go on an adventure, traveling different worlds and facing off against many enemies, before facing off against Bowser, defeating him and saving the princess. The cycle will repeat itself, just never in quite the same way. And the second context I use to interpret this line is through our real world. Time is a circle, and history often rhymes. Pandemics, politics, war, life and death. The love our parents extended to us as children will look similar to the love we extend to our future generations. I recently read this article written by Liverpool's goalkeeper, Alisson Becker, in which he writes about the memories he has of his father and the grief he experienced when his father tragically passed away in an accident. Alisson recalls the memories of being a little boy and playing soccer with his dad, even when his dad was tired after working all day. Later on in the article, Alisson circles back to this experience, except not through his perspective as a father. The kids come running back into the living room, asking him to play. He's tired, but he rolls off the couch and onto the floor with a thump. His children scream with excitement and they laugh with joy as they play with their father, just like he did all those years ago when he was a little boy. And if by this point you haven't cried yet, the music in the end credits will surely send you over that line. There's something about music you like, but it being played slightly differently, that always gets me weirdly emotional. Just listen to this version of Gusty Garden. God, it's just so beautiful, and I think that's what it comes down to in the end. Super Mario Galaxy is a great game, but it's the pure beauty of it that takes it from being just a great game to something truly special. I love this game. And speaking of another game I love, I think it's time we talk about Super Mario Galaxy 2. Mario Galaxy 2 is a great game that, although it doesn't have the same emotional impact that the first game has, it increases the fun factor by tenfold. First off, the pacing of this game is amazing. In the first game, most galaxies had 3 main stars, 1 secret star, and then comet stars, which made some galaxies feel like they dragged on for a little too long. That's absolutely not a problem in Galaxy 2, as galaxies only have a maximum of 2 main stars, along with whatever secret comet star there is. A new addition to this game are the comet medals, which need to be collected in order to unlock comet star challenges. This gives players another objective to look out for as they play through the galaxy. Along with the better pacing, Galaxy 2 feels like the developers were given another chance to go all out with any wacky and fun ideas they didn't come up with at the time, and make a whole new game out of just these ideas. This game wastes no time getting you into the meat and potatoes of it. Boom, first galaxy, you're already jumping between these rising platforms, and then running between and over these rolling gray stones, and then boom, boss fight. Second star, weave between these giant bullet bills and then enter this really cool 2D section that wraps around itself continuously. And then the second galaxy we get Yoshi! My god, Yoshi! Yoshi is so much fun, I love him. Aside from being a cutie patootie, he introduces many mechanics to the game, such as the ability to grapple onto these flowers and swing between them. You can also gobble up bullet bills and these red spiky guys and throw them at enemies or break certain objects. He's just so cool. God, I love him. Flip Swap Galaxy is a cool one where the tiles flip every time you do a spin, so it's important to think before you shake. Oh, that's why they called it that. In Spin Dig Galaxy, you get to face off against the wait, am I allowed to say that? Or Fluffy Bluff Galaxy has a cloud power-up, which feels so good. I'm light as a cloud, I can create clouds. That music, I'm gonna cry. Look at this dragon, isn't he so cool? Yoshi eats a hot pepper and starts going up this wall. What? Yoshi, you mad dog. What else are you capable of? Did you ever wish you were the bowling ball in Wii Sports? I did. And you know what? You can be a bowling ball in this game. No, literally, there's actually a bowling minigame in this game where you're the bowling ball. It's great, and I'm glad I finally got to achieve my lifelong childhood dream. This is not a fetish caused by childhood trauma, I promise you. I love Cosmic Cove Galaxy. I mean, just listen to the music and close your eyes. You're no longer on Earth. You've been transported somewhere else. Not a physical world, but a place beyond the constraints of the physical world. You've reached a plane of consciousness that can only be accessed by listening to music as ethereal as this. We've got another fun motion control galaxy in Wild Glide Galaxy, and use your Wii remote to dive or fall gently and steer left and right. It's super fun and it's just a wonderful time flying through this jungle at high speeds, appreciating the trees, the river, the waterfall, and the music. Tall Trunk Galaxy is another favorite of mine. Yoshi turns into a hot air balloon for the first star, and that is used to scale up this tree and then to collect the star chips in this 2D section and grab a comet medal. And then finally you have to avoid these spiky things that you travel up to collect the star. For the second star you have to ride down this long ass slide, which has a lot of twists and holes and enemies to avoid and jump over. There's this balloon popping minigame in Freeze Flake Galaxy where green balloons get you 10 points, gold balloons get you 50 points, and the spiky things bump you off your feet, wasting precious time. It's a fun minigame where the goal is to reach a certain score, and if you succeed you get a star. I really like Haunty Hills Galaxy and its revolving platforms that disappear and reappear through these invisible walls. B-Block Galaxy is this cool galaxy in which you have to use your ears to judge when platforms will appear and disappear. In fact, this concept is so good that it's even brought back in 3D World. I love this boss fight against Bowser's Mega Hammer, where he used Yoshi to spit back these bullet bills as weak points to defeat him. Sweet Mystery Galaxy is a lovely continuation of the Bullberry mechanic in Haunty Hills. And man, this place just feels like a dream. Somehow we're here in space among the stars. Cakes, donuts, and ice creams inexplicably float here in the space. This music lulls you into a dreamlike state, where even though things don't make sense, we keep moving forward. Chompworks Galaxy is really interesting, and there are two sections where your job is to guide the chomps to their respective holes. One where you get to flip switches and seesaw, and another one where you have to stand on platforms to lower them and then press a button to help the chomp get up here and roll down here. The second star has a challenging spring section where you go all the way up using Spring Mario, and a small mistake could have you falling all the way back down and start all over again. I love Starshine Beach Galaxy purely for the aesthetics and music. It's a place that feels like it could belong in Mario Sunshine, and I just think it's so beautiful. The levels are more open-ended and exploration-based, so it's a place where it's easy to slow down and just take your time and enjoy the music, the sounds of waves crashing, and the beautiful scenery. Boom Boom Galaxy has a great 2D section where Boom Mario scales up this tower while avoiding enemies. Slip Sand Galaxy has this cool section where you're going down this sand slide while weaving between these giant rolling boulders like you're Indiana Jones, and then using the fire flower to throw fireballs into this guy's mouth. The second star has you standing across the desert on this bird while avoiding enemies and obstacles that threaten to make you fall to your death. I don't know if I'm tripping, but surely this is a callback to the Sandbird in Mario Sunshine, right? I like the boss fight in Shivercorn Galaxy, where you skate quickly across the ice to avoid his fireballs and then spin to throw coconuts back at him. Melty Monster Galaxy is an absolutely magnificent galaxy where you have to avoid getting eaten by these lava monsters. And for the second star you have to control Rock Mario through this narrow course, moving left and right and jumping over these gaps, and gosh, it's a cool level. Battle Galaxy is really interesting and stands out because it is the only galaxy where the focus is on defeating enemies to progress the level. Speaking of standout, Slimy Spring Galaxy has a really unique atmosphere. You enter this cave full of water. The music is like the ticking of a clock, a constant noise reminding you of the ever-increasing passage of time. The cave has no end in sight. Mario is drowning, we keep swimming and swimming and swimming, and yet there's no sign that the cave ever opens back up, no place where we can breathe fresh air. For all we know, we could be swimming into a dead end. But we keep going before entering another cave and again, swimming through endless amounts of water, with no exit in sight. We come out and are greeted by white flowers on a field of grass and a warm sun far off into the distance. Birds are chirping, the music has stopped. It's like time has slowed down. We were drowning, trapped in a cave, anxiously looking for an exit, but we persevered and are rewarded with this beautiful view. We can finally slow down and breathe and enjoy the beauty in front of us. Bowser's Galaxy Generator is an absolute masterpiece of a galaxy that celebrates Mario Galaxy 2 and its mechanics. The music is appropriate for what is a triumphant final, where we will kick Bowser's big ass one more time. And after defeating him once again, the end credits music is just so beautiful. Listening to it just makes my heart full of joy. I love it. But hello, what's this? Post-game content? Roller Coaster Galaxy has you racing on Rainbow Road with the ball, and it's extremely fun going super fast down this track. Flip Out Galaxy is an amazing expansion of the tile flipping mechanic, as now we need to spin to make the walls come out so we can wall kick between them. Oh, it's so good. And then there's a boss rush galaxy where we fight many of the main bosses in Mario Galaxy 1. The post game is like a nice little dessert for anyone who wants to play Mario Galaxy 2, and for those seeking the extra challenge, and I think it's pretty solid. The Mario Galaxy games are a special set of games. It's not just that there's a wide array of fun and unique mechanics and levels. It's deeper than that. It's the music, the scenery, all the different emotions that the games make us feel. How it effortlessly goes from being cheery, reflective, triumphant, somber, and how it does it with such few words. The Mario Galaxy games show us the true beauty of the gaming medium with its mix of music, visuals, and player interactivity. There is nothing out there quite like Super Mario Galaxy, and these are games that will always have a special place in my heart. Thank you for watching.